Kia ora and welcome to Sam's Take, a series about entertainment news and reviews, with me, Sam Rillstone. This week I'm getting all my thoughts out on a very special film for me, The Batman. Directed by Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson stars as the titular hero and his alter ego Bruce Wayne in his second year of crime fighting. He begins to uncover corruption throughout Gotham City as a mysterious serial killer, the Riddler, played by Dano, begins targeting the city's elite. With the help of his butler Alfred, played by Serkis, Selina Kyle, played by Zoe Kravitz, and Jim Gordon, played by Wright, Bruce heads into every dark corner of Gotham to see how deep the rot and riddles go. Now I need to begin by saying that Batman means a lot to me. Clearly. I've collected toys, comics, literally anything that I could get my hands on that's Batman since I was a kid. I got a Batmobile toy for Christmas once that came with a Batman figure with a material cape, and that brought me so much wonderment because his cape actually swooshed and moved organically. And I also remember seeing my dad in the Christmas parade dressed as Batman, and that just blowing my mind. What I'm saying is, I really just wanted this movie to be good. And yeah, wow. Okay, so firstly, the score by Michael Giacchino is enticing, immersive, and historic. The main Batman theme is a piece of music that will be held up against other recognizable themes like those in the Avengers and even the Dark Knight trilogy. And overall, this movie just plays like a comic book in motion. There's narration towards the beginning and end of the film that is just so comic book. Most modern Batman comics have Bruce's internal monologue as small text boxes throughout, so to see them represented here is so authentic and immersive. This is a classic thing to say, but the cinematography by Greg Fraser looks exactly like panels of a comic book. The composition is so engaging, and the colour grading adds a ton to the overall feel of the film. Suspense is expertly used to bring to life the long-standing Batman concept of fear, showing how he uses a space or simple silence to instill it. This is by and large a detective story, which it was always presented as in the lead up to the film and is executed with finesse. Akin to the highly popular Arkham video games and the animated series from the 90s, the film captures exactly why Batman is heralded as the world's greatest detective. As for Pattinson's Bruce and Bat, he's tortured. You see it in his eyes and in every facet of his performance. Pattinson personifies all this in a nuanced, calculated and well-researched performance that, to be honest, had me in tears, as did this entire movie. I'm just so happy this movie was good. I had my doubts about certain aspects in the lead up. I'm a little bit precious about my Batman, not to the point of gatekeeping of course, but this is a character I've loved my entire life, so I just want to see him done justice. But I absolutely got what I was after. The dark, noir feeling from the 90s animated series, the detective story from the Arkham games, and the brooding brutality from the comics. Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle / Catwoman is nigh on perfect casting for a modern interpretation. This character has even more of a legacy in the lore of Batman since the last two on-screen interpretations. Kravitz navigates this masterfully, showing the drive and initiative, but also the humanity and sensitivity of Selina. They also do well with the Bat-Cat relationship. The duality is perfection, capturing that antagonistic flirtation as their romance blooms. Dano has harnessed the essence of the Riddler from the comics, a child who just wants to be seen, admired, and above all, the smartest person in the room. His obsession quickly turns to the classic frustration when he isn't recognised as such. You can see so clearly the thought and understanding Dano has of this character. The last time we had a live-action Riddler was Jim Carrey in Batman Forever. I personally love that performance and it has such a place in the history and great Batman villains. And Dano cements his place in that history with a grounded and simultaneously unhinged performance. He does so much with quite little screen time. As does Colin Farrell as Penguin. He's unrecognisable in both look and behaviour. These actors have been pushed well and directed outstandingly. Someone who gets a lot of play and scenery to chew is Wright as Jim Gordon. His gruff determination and want to straighten out every corner of Gotham, even if he's the last good cop in the city, is palpable. The film explores themes of parenthood, childhood, losing those close to you and not wanting to feel such things ever again, and the lengths you will go physically, mentally and emotionally to try protect yourself from that feeling. It also highlights the danger and reality of fringe online communities and the actions that they can lead to. I feel this is a similar thing that Joker tried to do in 2019 in a different historical context. But in my opinion, that film took itself too seriously, trying to be overly prolific. It has its place for sure, but I just think the execution left something to be desired. Whereas this film doesn't mess around with edgy villain quotes that are cringy. It deals with the villain's tragedy through his humanity, whilst also still being rooted in realism. Pattinson and Dano also share the best dialogue scene that rivals the Batman Joker prison scene from The Dark Knight. Matt Reeves and his crew have found the gaps in previous Batman media, and in doing so, found ample creative opportunities. There is one of the most unique fight sequences with the use of light, and I can't think of a single action sequence that used Steadicam. Some actually had locked off static camera shots. It's refreshing to see in a film like this, so big ups to the stunt team for their choreography. And the most dark, epic, imposing Batmobile reveal ever. Going forward, I'm intrigued as to how this Batman can exist within a Superman-esque, fantastical world. Of course, not that he needs to, but with the undoubted future success of this film, it has to have the Warner Brothers executives looking to build a universe. Or maybe this will be the first time they slow down and do things a bit more methodically. So as I'm sure you can tell, it is a huge recommendation from me. I don't want to be so hyperbolic as to say if you don't see this, you're doing yourself a disservice, but it is a masterclass in filmmaking and a must-see for any die-hard Bat fan. Now I'm just going to touch on a little spoiler in a second, so if you don't want to know anything about that, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so we have Barry Keoghan as the Joker. You barely see his face, of course, but Keoghan was confirmed as part of the cast and has been rumoured to be playing the Joker. This is perfect and inspired casting. His sinister and nuanced performance as Druig in Eternals last year is a good taster of what he's capable of. Does this mean that Pattinson's Batman has already put him away in Arkham Asylum? Do they have history? There's some parallels with the Joker card reveal at the end of Batman Begins, but that was with a Joker who was unknown to Batman, so a Batman-Joker relationship with history will be interesting, assuming Joker will play a main villain role in the future. There is every possibility that he isn't the Joker and he's playing somebody else, but he makes a reference to clowns and does a little Joker laugh, so come on. A move away from the Joker would be quite welcome in fairness, but Keoghan's talent mixed with Reeves' direction, assuming he is directing the guaranteed sequel, is extremely exciting and might, dare I say it, reach the lofty heights of Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight. I'm also intently interested in what the design will be for this, given the creativity we saw for costuming in this film. Overall, I'm very excited and optimistic for this iteration of the Bat. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Sam's Take. I'll see you next time for more entertainment news and reviews.